Just a quick note, before you watch this video, pause it and then go to the subscribe button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. And also go to the bell button and hit notifications, because you will then get a little message to say that we've uploaded a new video. We really want to grow this account and bring you so much more content, but we need to get more subscribers. So if you could do that for us, that would be absolutely brilliant. And if you could share the videos on your social media platforms, that would be really, really appreciated. But listen, enjoy the video. Thanks. So Liverpool are playing Fulham at Cottage on Sunday, and joining me for a little chat about the game is Russ Goldman of the Cottage Talk podcast. And Russ is based over in Boston. How are you doing, Russ? You all right?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to speaking with you a little bit about this upcoming match.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it. It's funny. We talked about this on Cottage Talk, that when you get back to the Premier League, and it's nice to play the Man Cities and Chelseas of the world, but the reason why you go back into the Premier League is to play teams like Liverpool and Manchester United. And that's really what being in the Premier League, when you think about it, that's what it's really about. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
It should be a fantastic game. I'm looking forward to it. You guys have you've struggled a little bit since the start of the season. How do you assess your performances since we started?
Well, the way that I would put it into two parts. The opening part of the season goes back to Fulham ending the season in the championship final and having a very quick turnaround. So it was really going to be difficult on them to start the season based on having to bring in upgrades in several positions, bringing in new players. So when we started the season, we were still using a good amount of our team from that championship final. So since then, we've integrated new players, and it's a completely brand new back five. So it's taken a little time for it to really gel together. So we really started to see it. Actually, the first time I really noticed an improvement was against Wolves, and it really has paid off since then. It's been a combination of Scott Parker maturing as a manager, using the right players for each individual opponent, and then basically getting the players that we need into the system and playing well as a team. It's taken a little bit, but I think we're starting to see the team that I had hoped for at the beginning of the season.
The form that you showed in the championship was very good. Scott Parker was lauded as a top, upcoming English manager. Is that how you still see it?
Yeah, it's funny because as I've said this over and over again, and I'm happy to say it to you as well, Scott Parker was not my choice as Fulham manager a couple seasons ago when we went down to the championship. But to his credit, and I want to give him full credit, he actually has won me over. I just wanted an experienced manager that could really help us get out of the championship and also be Premier League ready. But what I've noticed from him and his time in the championship, and it actually really has increased in his time in the Premier League, is his ability to learn his craft and be able to adjust to the teams that he's playing against. Fulham now play a couple different ways, and he's not afraid to change things up if he needs to. And what's interesting is Fulham are basically in the model of how Parker played as a player, but he's also willing to make changes if need be. It's conservative in nature, but he's actually letting the players take more risks than they did initially.
Brilliant. And looking at your team and how you think you will line up on Sunday, what players should we be looking out for, and what formation do you think you'll be playing?
It's interesting because I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you, Gavin, exactly what Scott Parker is going to do. I have a feeling that he might go with the same type of formation he's had in the last two matches. It worked great against Leicester City, basically trying to beat Leicester City, and then Man City. It didn't work against Man City on the counter with basically five at the back. I have a feeling he might do that, but then on the other side of it, Fulham are now at home. Those are two away matches. Will he go back to more of what we call Parker ball, where it's more possession based and try to control the ball. But the thing is, you're playing Liverpool. So he's got a conundrum. Will he play that way at home? It's going to be interesting because also the Fulham supporters are returning to Craven Cottage. So he has a lot to think about exactly how he wants to play this against Liverpool. Does he want to play Liverpool on the counter? There's a big part of me that thinks he will, but he might be tempted to play the way he did before he played the formation against Leicester City and Man City. I don't know what he's going to do. He's also got a couple of serious decisions to make with his starting 11 because the last two matches, Gavin, he's gone without Mitrovic and Tom Kearney, two players that are vital to Fulham, but as he said, they were tactical decisions. And I understand why he went with both of them on the bench. And actually, Mitrovic didn't even play in the last match. I truly believe it's tactical. It doesn't have to do any reflection on Mitrovic or Kearney. I think he was looking to beat teams with pace on the counter. And nothing against Kearney, but I think he was thinking more of Loftus-Cheek in that role. And then he wanted more pace up front. And Ivan Cavallero is, again, it's been an interesting choice. He played a little bit different role in the last match. You have RubenLoftusCheek basically playing a false nine, but it'll be interesting to see exactly what he does. If he does include Mitra, because if he wants to beat him on the counter, will he play with him? I don't know. I mean, I actually predicted that he would play Kearney and Mitro in this match, so I'll go with it. But I think he also still might go with this counter-attacking team.
I think Loftus-Cheek, is he still someone who polarizes opinion amongst the Fulham fans?
Well, we all see that he has the ability, Gavin. The issue we have with Ruben Loftus-Cheek is that we've seen glimpses of the player that everyone else has seen in his loan spell and at Chelsea. He's still coming back from that injury. I know it's been a while ago, but he's still coming back from that injury. And the issue I think we have with him is that I think he has to play a specific role to flourish. And I think central midfield role, playing that number 10, I think is a good role for him. The problem is Tom Kearney plays that role. So we've been debating, can you play them together? Can you actually play them together? And that's an interesting situation because we have other players that we see as part of that central midfield mix. And probably Fulham's best player this season, I think, has been Ngisa. He'll always be included. But if you're going to have Kearney and, say, Loftus-Cheek playing a little deeper role, then you would have to get rid of Harrison Reed, and you kind of need him for that defensive midfielder role. So, put it to you this way. I wouldn't want to be Scott Parker right now trying to figure out how he's going to play against Liverpool.
Right.
Because it's going to be interesting, the decisions he has to make. I will know, exactly how Fulham are going to be. I'll have a very good idea when that starting 11 comes out.
I mean, that's that you mentioned it there before. The return of the fans is a big factor in that.
Yes, I think it's huge.
I think since the Premier League has started without fans, there's a lot of managers who've been able to play a bit more defensive and on the counter. Whereas if there's a full stadium and you're playing at home and you're playing like that, the fans will be on your back. They won't allow you to do that. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing. And especially from what you've said, he's played this way away and had success. Is he going to do that on Sunday?
Yeah, and that goes into the decision-making. Listen, there's going to be, I want to say, I think it's going to be around 2,000, but still, these are 2,000 fans that cannot wait to get back there. And, what will Scott Parker do? Will he want to play counterattacking against Liverpool at home? I don't know. I really don't know if that's the way he's going to play it. It's funny because, listen, we have, I know we're going to have differing opinions on Roy Hodgson, okay, from a Liverpool perspective and a Fulham perspective. But I will tell you, Roy Hodgson would play the top teams at home on the front foot. He wouldn't be afraid. Away he would definitely put everyone behind the ball. Don't get me wrong. But at home, he generally would try to play on the front foot. I'm fascinated to see the approach that Scott Parker has. And this is like huge because we do have the fans coming back. So how will he do it? I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what he's going to do.
I detect in your voice there, and I think we've had it a little bit before with Fulham fans. They have a bit of a problem with the way we treated Roy Hodgson. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I've seen this
without a doubt. And,
yeah.
And I'll be one that actually had an issue with that. And listen, Roy Hodgson was so good for Fulham. And I understand when he goes to Liverpool, listen, Liverpool is Liverpool, and the expectations and how Liverpool plays is completely different than how Roy Hodgson sets up his team.
Yeah.
So there was always going to be, that feeling for, I understand the feeling for Liverpool supporters, but Roy Hodgson is in such high esteem with us.
Yes,
and,
I realize that.
Yeah. So for us, it's very difficult to see him get the stuff that he got at Liverpool, like the stuff I got, that I would see from Liverpool supporters was like, he's, kind of the worst manager you've ever seen. He was terrible. He was friends with Sir Alex Ferguson, like all this stuff. So, I mean, I get it, but yes, Fulham supporters have issues with that.
In defense of Liverpool fans at large, what you see on Twitter isn't a cross section of every Liverpool fan. Yeah. From my point of view, it wasn't the manager that I wanted, but I was willing to give him a good chance, and I think I did. But what we were seeing on the pitch wasn't good. Right. Obviously, I think we were third from bottom at one point. In his defence, we were a club in turmoil at the time.
Exactly.
We really were. So, I can see where Liverpool fans are coming from on that, but I can also, I remember those times, and I remember thinking, well, he's managed Inter Milan. He's had a fairly glittering career. He's been fantastic at Fulham. Let's give him a chance. And I think we didn't have much money at the time. The signings that we made didn't help. So I think just to defend Liverpool fans, because I can see that you're a little bit annoyed. I do get it, and I understand why you're so defensive of it. But I don't think across the board everyone is the same as what you've read on Twitter.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Just stay on, because I want to ask you a couple of other questions, but just give me a prediction for Sunday.
What was that?
Just give me a prediction for Sunday.
Oh, sure. I'm predicting 2-0 to Liverpool. I'd like to think Fulham have a chance. Listen, if there's one thing we've learned in this season, every team has a chance, but I have so much respect for Liverpool and what they bring. I know about the defensive issues, but as I was just told, Alisson has a chance to start. If he wasn't starting, I think I might feel a little bit differently. And I know about your center back pairing. That gives me hope. And then I just learned that Jota, who kills Fulham, is not playing, so that helps too. But still, I can't pick Fulham to get anything out of this match. Can they? The answer is yes, but I'll predict 2-0 to Liverpool.
What I will say to you is that it does look like Alisson is back, but I have a feeling that he may rest Matip, in which case you will see Nat Phillips, who's very inexperienced, although he is about 22, 23, I think, but he's inexperienced. And what I will tell you as well was that when we played Brighton, we struggled. We couldn't. They closed us down very quickly. We couldn't get going at all. So, if he basically sets up like that, which is what you're saying, he think he might do with a back five and just sit on the counter, then it could be a long afternoon for Liverpool. It really could.
Okay, well, we shall see.
just going back to you said at the beginning of the podcast that you live in Boston.
Yep.
Obviously, our owners are there in Boston. What's your view on our owners? Obviously, are you a Red Sox fan?
Yes. Listen, if you live here, Gavin, you're born into it. You are absolutely born into it. My father was such a Red Sox fan. I can't tell you how much of a Red Sox fan he was. He passed away a few years ago, and thankfully, I can tell you, he got to see the Red Sox win it all. Wow. In his lifetime. In fact, he got to see them win it a few times, 3 times. But my grandfather never saw it. So there are so many similarities between the Red Sox and Liverpool. It's not even funny. And it was 86 years that the Red Sox had not won the World Series. John Henry buys the Red Sox, and again, it took a few years, but they win the World Series. And listen, Red Sox fans were skeptical, probably as Liverpool fans were, because he was an outsider. He's not from here. Sound familiar? He's not from here, right? He's not from here. So we were skeptical. But the proof is in the pudding. He's never been afraid to spend money. He also, with Fenway Park, he spent so much money refurbishing Fenway Park. So and again, similar situation with Liverpool, refurbished and expanded Anfield. So there are a lot of similarities. But the problem with here in Boston, and I tell everyone this, is like, I'll be indebted to John Henry for as long as I live, because the Red Sox won the World Series, and now they've won it 4 times, okay? When they have not been good, and it doesn't take much for Red Sox fans and the media. The media here, Gavin, is like no other media you'll ever see in the world. It is worse than any media in England, in the United States,
I find that
anywhere.
very hard to believe.
No. Trust me when I tell you, this media is the most negative of anywhere in the world.
Wow.
And it all stems from the Red Sox not winning the World Series for 86 years, because the negativity has built up for generations to generations, passed on to the media. And they, again, even with all the success that all of our sports teams have, they're still very negative. So as I said on another show, when the Red Sox have had their off seasons, the media has turned on them like you wouldn't believe. And also the fans, to the point where they have been calling for John Henry to sell the Red Sox.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Think about the fact that the Red Sox, that he was the man that brought the Red Sox the World Series title, and they are looking for ways to put pressure on John Henry. And I heard it on the radio, and there were fans calling for, again, these are during bad season, because unfortunately for the Red Sox, either they have been close to winning a title, or they've been horrible. There's been no in between. There's been no mediocrity. Either they've been great or horrible.
Right. So
the years that they've been horrible, it's been bad. And I'll just quickly tell you a funny story about John Henry. That John Henry actually once, after hearing a conversation about himself in the car in his limousine on a show called Felger Mass, this is about 6 or 7 years ago, and they were just destroying John Henry on the radio. He told his driver to take him to the station, and he demanded to be put on the radio, and they interviewed him on the radio. You can actually Google this. The show's called Felger and Maz, and John Henry debated these guys on the radio, and it was just amazing radio. But it just shows you how, it doesn't take much for negativity to continue here, and we're spoiled here from all of our championships, not just with the Red Sox, but all the teams here. So I've always said that for Liverpool fans, I would think that, again, I would understand the skepticism in the beginning, and he made some mistakes. Henry and FSG made some mistakes. I look at the Andy Carroll signing as a mistake, but you know what? It was also a sign of intent that they were willing to spend money, and then they spend it, badly, but I think they've learned from their mistakes. And we were just talking about how they have the policy of not signing players over 30, but now they've actually relaxed that a little bit and will sign some players that are over 30 if it helps Liverpool. And I think that is a good sign for Liverpool, that, that you can have this business model, but you have to adapt it. And I think that's one of the things that he's done, John Henry. And I think another thing, he's also seemed to have found good managers to run his teams.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that with the Red. He's made some mistakes with the Red Sox, but more often than not, he's got it right. Well, he certainly got it right with Liverpool with Klopp. And if you want to talk about decisions, that to me has been his best decision.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree completely. Just before I let you go, Russ, and I really appreciate you coming on. It's been fantastic. Can you? Obviously, we signed Harvey Elliott from you. He's now on loan at Blackburn and he's doing really well. But what are your memories of seeing Harvey Elliott perform when he came into the team, and where do you think he's going to go?
I think Harvey Elliott is going to be a superstar in the Premier League, and I just think it's a matter of time before he does that at Liverpool. And I was very sad to see him go, because you could see at such a young age, he's way beyond his years, way beyond. And, he's a player that has no fear and has loads of talent. So when you lose a player like that, it hurts. And the fact that he, again, had the attitude that he wanted to do better for himself. So he goes to Liverpool, but he is at that level that he deserves to be at Liverpool. And I can only see huge success for him. And I truly believe will be a huge player for Liverpool for many years to come. Hasn't even scratched the surface. I actually watched his last match for Blackburn. And again, you can see it, and I actually saw some cup matches with Liverpool. I'm like, I can't believe he's already doing this at such a young age.
Yeah.
So I think Liverpool got themselves an extremely special player. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, I think we agree, and we're just excited to see where he can go from now. Russ, thank you so much.
No problem
for chatting to me. What are you guys doing with Cottage Talk at the moment? Anything happening? Yeah,
well, we just did a preview show that we did with Richard Buxton of Quick Liverpool. That's actually on the Cottage Talk Twitter page on Russ_Goldman. You can watch that and also watch it on the Cottage Talk Facebook page. And then after the match, we should have a show that we call Full Time, and then we'll have a post-match show a few days later.
Brilliant. Okay. And just before I let you go, why are you a Fulham fan?
Well, it's a question I've been asked a great deal, and it started with Clint Dempsey used to play for my local team, the New England Revolution. So it's a common story by many Fulham supporters that are over here, that it usually starts with an American player. For me, it was definitely Clint Dempsey. Right. And so I tried hard to like other teams. I tried Manchester United. It just didn't take. My father grew up in Chelsea, Massachusetts, so I thought I would try Chelsea, and that didn't work. And Fulham were a perfect fit. So when he went over there, his first year, I wasn't really into it. It was the second season that they went through the season we call the Great Escape. And I went through a relegation battle. I had never really experienced that. And going through that made me a full-fledged Fulham supporter.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, listen, Russ Goldman, thank you very much. I really appreciate talking to you, and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
You take care. Thanks.